Just so you know that when it's all taped, we send it back to you, Bill and Jake will, just so that you can listen to it and make sure there isn't
In case I drop the F-bomb or something.
Yes.
Okay, I got
it. In case you,
More than
in case we
3
get any
times
secrets out of
we
you.
draw the limit.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring's like on Jupiter and Mars. Fly me to the moon.
I think we're already rolling. We've had some good, we've got some good content already. So let's get going.
Bill, if you don't mind, usually you welcome everyone to the show. So today I'll do that if you don't mind, and say, hey, welcome back, everyone. And we're very excited about today's guest. Should be a great show. We have Barb Baekgaard with us, and I'm guessing most of our viewers will know Barb, but just in case there's someone out there who doesn't, Barb is a Miami, Florida native. Is that right, Barb?
Miami Beach, yeah.
Miami Beach.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, you picked the right spot, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah,
I came all the way from, and Barb is well known for being one of the co-founders of Vera Bradley, and a clothing and bag manufacturer, a high-end, really high-quality product line. And so she's going to talk to us today and tell us about a lot of stuff. But before we go too far with this, Barb, I do need to tell you that the real reason that we invited you in today was not to talk about yourself and the things you've done. It's really to tell us more about your son, Tom, because we know how great he is. And he asked me to make sure that you get a plug in there for him about what a wonderful, wonderful son he is.
Well, they all think Jimmy's my favorite son because he was the 4th child.
Yeah.
But I like Tommy really well too. I like him.
Yeah, Dan called him today and was like, hey, is there anything I should know about Barb?
Oh, geez, don't ask him. Oh, my God. And they're on that big trip, through they're driving.
Yes, out west.
Amazing.
Yeah. That looks awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen some of those pictures.
Speaking of trips, you just got back from Paris.
I did.
The Olympics, right? You were there for the Olympics and everything?
Yep. Our family, the Barbara Baekgaard Family Foundation, is involved with the Olympics. And we have been we've been to 3 or 4 Olympics, so go back every 4 years.
4 years, 16.
And it's really exciting, really fun.
So, like, involvement, is that meaning sponsor? Is that, or how's that?
And foundation, on their foundation, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it takes a lot to put on the Olympics and everything, so that you
my
guys are a part of
gosh,
that?
Yeah, but they treat us very well.
That's great.
See, we don't pay our Olympians. We're the only country that really doesn't take care of the Olympians. Our Olympians are amateurs, of course, and it's a whole different situation. So they rely on sponsors and donors to support.
So you help in that way.
That's how we help.
So speaking of that, though, because the players that played golf in the Olympics, the Americans, are actually professional players.
Well, I know, and the basketball are too.
And the basketball
I'm
is
not
too.
clear on that.
Yeah, so that's a different
I know.
situation there.
I don't quite get that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's more like I don't know if you guys saw the video, but it went viral. It was the Australian breakdancer. Uh-huh. Did you guys see that?
No.
Well, so it's getting a lot of views right now because maybe Jake saw it. Andre, you saw it too?
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
So everyone's kind of like joking that it was like someone's like mom out at the dance floor at some bar, right? Where everyone else is breakdancing. But what I just read though was it's a very traditional Australian breakdance.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and so like everyone's kind of mocking it here in the U.S., but at the same time, Australia's like, no, that's how our dance was.
I did not see that event. I have to tell you,
Yeah.
I skipped that one.
Yeah, but it's getting big, like headliner,
it is. It's
headliner
kind of
news.
crazy.
And, yeah.
I did see Simone Biles get the gold, 4 or 5 golds, but that was incredible to watch the U.S. team. I have my certain sports that I really enjoy. One being tabletop, which ping pong to us is an amazing sport.
Oh yeah,
Crazy. Did you watch that?
Oh yes, I love watching. I mean, they get so back behind the table and then so close. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was.
So your favorite sport? What would you say for Olympics?
For the Olympics, I think the gymnastics is a lot of fun.
Especially because they're so good.
Yeah, they're so amazing. When you're right there with them, you're like, you can't even believe.
I saw something that was like Simone Biles was like over 10 feet in the air.
Oh yeah,
Off of just
and
like
she is so tiny.
Yeah.
She's like 4'8" or something.
So are you guys saying that you can't do that kind of stuff? Well, I don't know what you're saying here.
Well, my one grandson was a IU cheerleader, not Tommy's son, but Amy's son, and he does all those flips and all that stuff. But that was not my strength. No,
It is amazing how they can do that.
So if there was one sport that shouldn't be there, what would you say it would be?
probably
Breakdancing, right? That's what. What do you think?
I'll get used to it. Now, I was a water skier. I was actually in water ski shows and all that. I mean, that's a fun sport. And we
Right.
did jumps and pyramids and all of that. That could be but that's not in the Olympics. But I don't
That'd be a good one to add.
That would be a good one for
Yeah,
the
why
Olympics.
not?
Yes.
Like so, you did
absolutely.
slaloming, like
yeah.
everything, huh?
Oh yeah, we did the same show that we won't go into that. It's all a history of water skiing,
Yeah.
which
That's great.
I like speaking of skiing, I like the Winter Olympics where they have the person on the skis and then they shoot stuff.
oh
I
yeah.
haven't quite figured out what that one's all about.
Oh, okay. Now wait a minute. My son-in-law, Joni's husband, is the head of that. That's a biathlon. And
that's
that's
part
where
of a
they
biathlon.
ski and then
Yeah.
they lie down and they shoot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And he
So
is-
wait, your son-in-law?
Yeah.
runs
He
that?
doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He is the head of that Olympic event.
Oh,
I'm with
wow.
you though. That's intense. And
Yeah.
they sometimes show like the heartbeat
Yeah.
through the TV, beats per minute.
Oh, I
and
haven't seen that.
and
That's incredible.
It's way up, and then they get to the gun part,
Yeah.
and it's all of a sudden it's like they drop their heart rate.
Yeah, the biathlon, that's an amazing sport. Now, we were at the Winter Olympics in Korea a couple years ago, and that was amazing to see the skiers and the jumpers. And,
Oh, that is
I
fascinating.
like the Winter Olympics as well as the summer. Maybe
So you just got back. When did you get back? When did
yeah,
you get home?
this week.
This week.
Don't ask me the
Well, welcome
date.
back.
I'm confused. I don't know what day.
Do you know what today is?
Yeah, no.
That jet lag is a real thing.
Yeah, and then I went right up to the lake, which it's like going to two extremes, from all that excitement and commotion, and now it's like
Right.
Yeah, kind of quiet up there at that lake,
a
isn't it?
little quiet
Especially
on a
on
weekday.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, welcome to Between Three Rivers. This is our podcast that we started almost. How many months we've been doing this
I think
now?
we started in January was our first
Fun.
first
Fun,
recording.
neat.
And you said it best. We want to be like a fireside
Yeah.
conversation, and then Dan mentioned we're the
Oh, the kick drum side.
kick drum side, which is great.
Yeah, I
So,
think so.
We're having a conversation with leaders like yourself, who have what I was reading started from not much, and
Well, $250. Now, come on. That was
Yeah.
a lot back
yeah,
then.
yeah.
You had a big head
And I had to
start.
borrow that, may I say. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you had to borrow that.
Yeah,
so
Pat
really,
and I each put in
So you had
$250.
$500.
Yeah, we put in $250 each of us, which we borrowed. Now, you guys are all too young to get this. We borrowed from our husbands. Does that make you laugh? You don't think that was partly our money? Not back then. This is 42 years ago.
so your husband, how do you say? What was his name?
Well, my first
First
husband.
husband. Yeah, because I was reading about Pierre.
Oh, that's my second husband.
okay.
I've only had two, but
So
Yeah.
I was reading
So far.
yeah.
because that's where the name back.
Pierre Baekgaard, yeah. He was born and raised in Denmark. He's the one who should have written the book because he was in World War II. He had an incredible life, yeah.
Well, he had a business too. He had a bag.
Well, that's how we met. He
men's
was the
bags
president
business.
of the Chicago Gift Show, big organization, and I was the first female on the board. And he came up after the meeting and said, it's a tradition. The president takes the new board member out for a drink. Whatever.
Interesting.
So that's how we met. So we were in the same industry, which made it really fun. He was an importer of men's fine gifts. And in fact, I still kind of run that business too.
Yeah, I was wondering, is the Baekgaard business
the Baekgaard, the men's
which
things.
is now called something
Well,
new,
we
right?
switched it to gray. I turned it over to one of my sisters because I just didn't have the time to really give it my all.
Right.
And Vera Bradley was my mother's name, so I named my company after Vera Bradley, my mother. So my sister named it the Gray Fox. My mother's maiden name was Fox, and she had gray hair. So she said, well, I'm naming it after her. So it's been cute. It still has a Baekgaard kind of ring to it. You know,
Right. I do have a Baekgaard bag. I have one.
Oh, I do too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
They're really nice, great
I
quality.
can get you more.
Okay, good. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good style.
I like to have cute guys walking around with the bags, you know.
All right. Well, we'll just bring one right here. Just
Yeah,
set it
yeah.
here for
I'll
you.
get
You know what?
you one.
You
too.
bring a Baekgaard bag, and or a Vera Bradley, and we'll make those companies sponsors of our show going forward.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And we can put 'em out here.
It's really a nice company. We've gone a little the equestrian look. We found that in doing the Baekgaard bags, two of my sisters are equestrians, and they found that the equestrian women liked the Baekgaard because they weren't girly like Vera Bradley, didn't have flowers all over them.
Right.
So we've gone in that direction and turned it more into equestrian.
So we're talking style, and you seem to be a very creative person. Now, creative is a simple word, but it's bigger than that, right? How did you have you always been creative in design? Is that like...
I've always only been creative. I have only one side of the brain, unfortunately. But I am very bad at numbers. In fact, I was thinking you could ask me anything, I'll answer anything, but you started asking me numbers. In fact, today I checked before this on how many employees we have because I thought if that came up, I hadn't a clue. I didn't have a clue. So I better
how many are
find
there?
this out.
How many are there?
Over 2,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
For all the companies.
Yeah. Well, but then we own Pure Vita too. That doesn't include Pure Vita, so it might be closer to 3,000.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes, it is.
So what's a day like for you creatively? You know what I mean? Like, are you drawing? Are you...
No, I can't
More-
draw a stick person. No.
Interesting.
No,
Yeah.
I have a good eye. I'm a great tweaker. I can look at something, and it's just my eye. I
Right.
just am blessed with
So
it.
you have a creative, almost business sense too then.
Yeah.
Which is a thing.
Yeah, well, you go back to Vera Bradley, I'm sure a lot of people might have had the same idea. My girls were in college, and growing up in Miami Beach, we had colorful, just, I don't know, grown up with a lot of color and a lot of what we didn't have here.
Right. When you come
And-
back to Fort Wayne and it's not,
Yeah.
you know?
And my girls at Michigan State, I always think the company really started in the Kappa House at Michigan State because I sent them the bags, Pat and I did, and they called home and said, Mom, everybody loves these. So that's how it all began.
Yeah.
But it wasn't some brilliant idea thinking this is going to be a mega million company or anything. It was just...
Going back a little bit farther, though, you were in Miami Beach. How did you wind up in Fort Wayne?
Well, I got married. Okay, I got married right out of college, and my Tom's dad, my husband, was with Continental Can Company, and we kept getting transferred. And we lived all over. I mean, the kids were born in Washington, Michigan, where else? Yeah, but anyway,
How many kids?
4.
4.
And so we moved a lot, and then he bought a company, Taylor Martin Paper Company here in Fort Wayne, so we ended up here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. In fact, when I started my business, you may or may not know this, but we needed some office space to use until our space was ready. And he allowed us to use some space upstairs at Taylor Martin Papers for probably about 3 months before we actually had our own office.
And then that's where we eventually moved Vera Bradley from my basement to exactly where you were.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Boy, my business didn't turn out quite like Vera Bradley for some reason.
Well, I don't know.
You were just warming it up in there.
Yeah, I guess so. Wrong time.
I know. Don't believe me. Every day I think, how did this happen?
Yeah. Yes.
The one way I always equate it is, we'll use Tommy as an example. You bring home a 7-pound baby from the hospital, and now he's 6'5". Now you've seen him every single day. So when did he go from this size to that size?
Yeah.
Because you've seen him every day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
don't notice it.
No,
Yeah.
you don't notice it. And that's how Vera Bradley is. We were working every single day, and all of a sudden, sometimes I drive into the parking lot and think, holy,
You could say it. We have an adult audience.
yeah, okay. It just is amazing. Now, if I had gone away for maybe 10 years and come back, then I don't know, but it's just...
You saw it every day.
Yeah.
And then now you look back on it and you're like, whoa.
Whoa, yeah. But it's been fun. Everything, every part of it, it's just... I've been having fun the whole time.
Right. Yeah. That was one of my questions. Like, would you, I mean, this is for everything, right? But like, would you do anything different? Would you?
No, I don't think so. Now, I never worked before Vera Bradley. Literally did not have a job because I got married right out of college. We had 4 children in less than 5 years. So
Well, you had a job.
I was a stay-at-home mom.
You had a job. You just didn't get paid for it.
Good job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Married to a Catholic.
Yeah.
No, it's just, all of a sudden,
So how old were the kids when you started?
the girls had just gone off to college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did it start? Where was the first bag?
Well, the first, Pat Miller and I went down to Miami Beach to visit my parents, and we were in the Atlanta airport, and I was noticing, I said, isn't it funny? People are in happy places, they're going everywhere, and everything is so boring. There's nothing flowery, there's nothing bright, so I was more used to, I don't know, just seeing more color, I guess, in my life.
right.
And so we went home and literally started the company the next day. Went over to Joann Fabric, bought some fabric, came back to my basement, made up some bags, sent them off to the kids.
That's amazing.
Voila.
I heard it was on a ping pong table. Is that
It
true?
was. And we have one at our company today just to remind us, take us back to from whence we came.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Not started in a garage, but started on a ping pong table.
No, we were below the garage. We were in the basement.
Right.
We had to get up to the garage.
Well, that explains your love of table tennis.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I never really made that connection.
Full circle there. That's great.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that because I have 3 under 5 right now.
Oh, really? Good for you.
So, it's
Well, you will love that because right now I'm in the great-grandchildren phase, but they're all doing the same thing more or less at the same time. You know what I mean? Their activities, like our kids all learn to ski at the same time. And now the cousins are all very, very close because they got married within the certain time frame. And I love that.
I like the analogy too because like you see them every day,
Yeah.
but then all of a sudden,
How did it happen?
yeah.
I know.
Well, that's how I hope for everybody's businesses. It's like, look, keep grinding away, and then all of a sudden you can look back on it later and appreciate it.
And we were free to, I'll tell you, it's a little different since we became a public company. I have to say, a little bit of the fun left it because we were able to just try it, like throw it up against a wall. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else. So we got into all kinds of fun things. Now we go through focus studies and, of course, there's a lot bigger risk now if something fails. But we had the fun of just being able to do whatever the heck we wanted.
Yeah. What's your involvement today? What are you active in the company at all, or Barbara?
Well, that's a good question. So we just changed leadership there. We have a new CEO, And she and her team have brought me back in. I think for about 8 years, I was not as involved. But now suddenly I'm a little more involved. I've always been involved with our foundation, which I'm the most proud of any, or certainly of my accomplishments. We've given over $40 million
That's phenomenal.
to breast cancer research. And I am involved with that very much. And the Vera Bradley, I don't know, I guess I call myself like kind of a tweaker. I'm in the office, I come and go from the office. It's not 9 to 5 anymore or 7 to 9 anymore.
Yeah.
But it's still involved, yeah.
Yeah, good for you.
I go to the events and the gift shows. I was just in Atlanta. Just before I went to the Olympics, I was in Atlanta at the Atlanta Gift Show. Yeah. I'm at the town hall meetings and.
So do they bring you in as kind of on a consulting level? Is that the idea?
No, I just think it's a collaborative effort where they'll say, "What do you think of this?" and I'm on the board.
Yes.
By the way.
Yes.
So that's involved.
And the company's going through change, right? I mean, it's
we're
like a
calling
new
it
kind of a
day.
new branding.
Yeah,
process.
it's a little bit of a I don't want to say upgrade necessarily. It's just a new look. It's a little more. Well, here I've got one of the bags right here.
There we go.
It's just a little different.
A little different. Yeah,
And
I like it.
I think it's exciting. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, very exciting.
So you get to be there to like pick things out now and see everything again.
That what? I'm sorry.
You get to be back in there and see things up.
Yeah, I'm in there.
Yeah, that's nice. And she's
I like
"Oh,
being there.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know about that.
They haven't locked me out yet,
Yeah.
and I still have my office. And I know I took someone through on a little tour recently, and they couldn't get over the fact that I knew so many people personally. Some of these people have been married in my backyard. Thank you. I mean,
Right.
I know these people. This
Yes.
is family.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny you mentioned that because everybody that comes in here is always saying, hey, we treat our business, our people in it like it's family.
Yeah. And we do.
Everyone said that. And we have a lot of listeners too that they either told me like they're starting up a company, they run a company, or and things of that nature. And it was funny. I was watching something the other day, and Elon Musk, it was a 2012 video, and he goes to this like group of kids. He goes, don't do it. He legit said, don't do it to these kids. And he's like, you have to just be wired differently to start a business and to run a business.
You do.
You know what I mean?
You have. Have you ever read Strength Finders 2.0? Are you aware of that book?
No, it sounds good.
Oh my
though.
gosh, I just love it. You read this book, and they tell you take a test, and they tell you call them God-given strengths, and to focus on those. I think so many of us. Take children, for example. You have a child, he's not good at math, so you get him a math tutor. What if he loved pottery? Did you ever think of getting him a pottery tutor?
Right.
Take something that he really, really enjoys and focus on that. Mm-hmm. And don't keep focusing on your weaknesses. An example would be Vera Bradley. If you had said to me, could you start a huge company? I would say no. Because I'm not good at math, I'm not good at finance. Those aren't my strengths. But you know what my strengths are? Positivity, adaptability, which I love it because I think everything's going to work. And if it doesn't, I adapt to the plan B.
Which is a huge strength.
Which is a big strength. Empathy is up there, and belief is up there. So nothing is saying... that's not telling you anything, go start a business, but it's all thinking you can do things.
Right.
And that's the strength. So then I found with Vera Bradley, I'll tell you right now, if our head of design gets hit by a truck, we're screwed. I hope our finance guys aren't listening to this, but if our CFO got hit by a truck, I could get one in here. You'll have to cut.
Hey.
But I mean, it's a fact. The creative is a gift that a lot of people don't have. And you can go to school and learn the financial part of it.
Right.
Barb,
And
what year did you start?
82.
82. So I brought this along, and I think it's well worth showing our viewers. But this is a copy of a magazine called Business People Magazine. Some of you may be aware of that, and I just happen to be the publisher of it and started that magazine in 1987.
Really?
I did, yep.
87.
And so this is Barb, and this is her partner, Pat Miller, and these are the two ladies who started Vera Bradley back in 1982.
Yep.
Yes. So that's I just thought I'd share that with the readers and
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanna see it
A
too.
long time ago,
remember
but
it.
it's gone quickly.
sorry, what'd you guys say?
Does she want to see it? Maybe she doesn't remember
Oh, she
that
did see
photo.
it. She saw it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
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 You can cut that out.
Business people. That's right.
You've
They're-
probably seen that before, I'm guessing.
I think
Yeah.
we have it framed in the office,
Good.
to tell you the truth.
well, we were just talking about how that's why we need paper copies of things. you know?
Yes, I agree completely with
Like you
that.
take a picture. What happens to that picture if you
I
don't
know.
print it? You know? And
Yeah, it
I-
gets lost.
yeah.
I
leave
believe
it.
that. In fact, we're going back for a while. We've been, we got away from any paper catalog or anything, and we're going back to that now.
Right.
Good for you.
And I'm thrilled about it. And
Oh,
that
interesting.
is our new CEO, Jackie Audrey, who's fantastic. And she's come in and looked at things in a different way.
That's really exciting,
Yeah.
especially for somebody in the publishing business.
Yes, I think so. I know. Oh,
We're
my
all
gosh.
hands-on people, though. I mean, most people are like to feel
Yeah.
something.
Oh, I just like, and we do the same with our photograph. You know, they're all on our phone.
yeah.
But then to get one framed now is a little unusual.
Right.
It is.
Well, you think
It is.
of tangible versus intangible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't even think of that many things that are intangible anymore.
Yeah.
You know, though, whenever I talk to young people, though, even people your age or younger, all I hear is that we see everything digitally. We don't read
Yeah.
anything
Absolutely.
in hard copy, and
It's because everyone's so used to just getting it right away from the internet.
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Well-
you're like that too. I am too.
Oh, yeah. For
But
sure.
at the same time, there's value in what's been printed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I say, that is framed in our office. And I think any time that we've had anything that it's, well, again, that's the visual in me too.
Right.
You can
Well,
imagine.
there's truth there too. Like, someone wrote it and someone made that publication that you're going to make.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. It's right there. It's not some miscommunication either, right?
Or
Yeah.
AI didn't
Yeah.
make it.
Right, right. All right, so it's sponsor time. Sasquatch Tea is what it's
Oh.
called. And Fort Wayne, it was made in Fort Wayne by Tom Tipman and his co-founder, and it's veteran founded.
Yeah.
So it's really, really awesome.
Yellowstone Gold.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and they have done a bunch of different kind. They have Smoky Mountain Chai, and they're just trying to make it woodsy, and it's. I have it at home. It's really, really good.
Really
Yeah,
good.
Sasquatch tea.
It's a loose tea.
Loose leaf tea. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can Barb take that
But
one
they're
with
in
her
a
if she wants it?
They're in a loose leaf, but in a bag.
In a bag though.
Oh,
so, yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't
and then
know.
Yeah.
they sell them in like a lot of like Gander Mountain or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. They sell them in like a lot of retail
Bella
stores.
and Grant. Yeah, yeah. So it's good, and that's
Wow.
yours. That's you can pick one of these. So
Yeah,
Take home.
Here's some
Well,
other
we have a
flavors
place
over
at
here.
Yellowstone. I have to pick Yellowstone.
there you go.
Well, let's go back for a minute to the family part of being in a business,
Yes, please.
because I think it's so important to make people just love where they're working, because you're spending most of your waking hours with those people, and we really have a strong family presence at Vera Bradley, and our offices they're warm and homey and
Right.
comfortable. Have you ever had a tour?
No,
Well,
not
you've
yet.
got to come
I know, I need to.
through.
I
I'll
need
bring
to.
you through.
Yeah.
But it does make such a difference. And I went through the same thing with the hotel, which that was the whole impetus in building a hotel in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We would bring people in here, and they'd come to our offices. They're beautiful. They'd see our homes. They're lovely. The people are wonderful. We had everything, and then they were staying wherever they were staying.
Right.
I won't. And I thought, we need a boutique hotel And at first, actually, Fort Wayne didn't quite get it. There was one radio, a TV caster who said, a forecaster, no, wait a minute.
Yeah, a news broadcaster.
Yeah, broadcaster, yeah. That's where my jet lag is coming. Who said, Barbara Bradley wants to build a boutique hotel, whatever that is.
Oh, geez.
So we just didn't have anything like that here.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
that's your brand. It's like bring something creative, different, unique.
Yeah. And it's great.
And it's been working.
All the celebrities stay there. You know, Jerry Seinfeld was here recently. He was staying there. The Thunderbirds stayed there when they came in for the air show. It's been fun. I mean, that's been a really fun project.
And are you there when all these folks are there? Do you get to meet them?
Yeah. Well, I didn't meet Jerry. I was out of town that day.
Yeah.
But I met all the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, very fun.
And a lot of different people that have come.
You got to get on Jerry's car and coffee show.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
No.
Comedians in cars getting coffee. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, really?
It's really good. He just takes some comedians around and they get coffee and they just chat.
Oh, cute.
It's a good one.
That's neat. Yeah.
I like your hotel just because you walk in the doors and it's an escape from Fort Wayne because it looks so different.
Yes.
I love it. And so I think that it's a great place. I know I have a lot of friends, and Dan and I have stayed there overnight too, but I have a lot of friends that they stay at your hotel because it's a great place to just get away. And when they go inside, it's just totally different than anything else. So you almost feel like you're in an eclectic city, like a New York or something like
I've
that.
heard people say that. And
But it's
upstairs
great.
at Birdie's, you know, you really
I love
you
that,
don't
yep.
feel. And the staff, and it took a while to get that situated because I wanted the staff to be the friendly Midwestern, and we were working with a company out of Portland, and I don't know, they just didn't get how we are in the Midwest. And now we've got great staff, great managers, and really neat. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, congratulations, and thank you for building it. It's
Yes,
a
thank
beautiful
you.
addition to the city.
Well, you know,
No
it's
question.
funny too. I've never done a staycation like you guys were saying. You guys stay there. Never done a staycation before except at the Bradley. That was the only time I've ever.
same here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Because we're like, I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't want to stay at the Hyatt.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Barb, where did Birdie come from?
Oh, my
how did-
grandson, my oldest grandson, he was about 2 when they'd say, we're going to grandma's. And he had 3 grandmothers. And then he'd come in my house, and I guess I had birds on my drapes. I don't feed the birds or anything. And my husband had a duck decoy collection, a whole thing of birds. And he'd go birdie, 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 point to all the birds. Next thing you know, it ended up Grandma Birdie, and then they dropped the grandma, and now everyone calls me Birdie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, he played college
Very
ball,
fun.
and all these great big 6'6" guys. Hi, Birdie. Hi.
Oh, that's awesome. So it goes outside of the family. Everybody's calling you
for
Birdie now.
sure. Oh, yeah.
How do you get that exclusiveness?
That what?
How do you get that exclusiveness? Can anyone call you Birdie? Is that,
Oh, yeah. I've had people ask me if that can be their grandma name.
Oh, nice.
People in the company said, my mother wants to be called Birdie when my children. Is that okay? I said, yes, I do not own that.
So you didn't say, I'm sorry, this is my name. Don't touch it.
Yeah, no one.
yeah.
And
Can't do that.
bees, I've been Barbara Bradley Baekgaard.
Yeah, a lot
wow.
of bees.
A lot of bees in
Yes.
my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that by design? You're a designer.
Yeah,
figured
no,
it's-
I just guess I like
It's
to be-
natural. It's just natural.
So you spend part of your time in a big city, New York.
Yeah, yes, I have a place there, and I love New York. I love theater. I love Broadway, and I have friends on Broadway.
Yeah.
And we do have an office there, but I don't spend a lot of time in the office there. I just like the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very fun. Yeah. And do you spend most of your time there, or where
Oh, no,
are you
here,
most
for
of the time?
sure.
Mostly here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you live at the lake all year round then? Or
No. I'm right near Homestead High School here.
okay, nice.
And then we're in the summer,
Yeah, cool.
on the weekends we're at the lake.
Good,
Yeah.
good. So not to like switch gears too much, I know a lot of your foundation is breast cancer
Yes.
awareness and everything. Is that for a purpose or?
Yes, my college roommate, who is my dearest friend, and then one of our first reps, because when we started the company, I just would ask friends, oh, you live in Washington, you want to sell this stuff?
Right, right.
And that's how the company started. She was the first one, and she died at age 50 of breast cancer. And she had lost her mother and her grandmother to breast cancer, and Pat knew her very well because she then was a rep for Vera Bradley. And we said, we've got to do something proactive here. This is inexcusable.
And it's big now, too. It's a big foundation.
Yeah, it really is. And it's coming up, the golf tournament. Now it's golf and pickleball. It used to be golf and tennis. So we like change,
Yeah.
So anyhow, it's in September this year. And we've given, not raised, but given over $40 million. We're close to $50 million.
Wow.
To breast cancer research.
So you know your financials.
And and then our other causes, Alzheimer's, which I lost my husband to. We endowed, not we, but our family, not Vera Bradley, endowed a chair for Alzheimer's research at Indiana University, and that's done amazing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we closer to eliminating these diseases?
Well, it's so much of it's early detection. And if we can get it detected early, well, the one doctor down at IU put it beautifully. She said, 20 years ago, if a woman with stage 4 breast cancer came into my office, I gave her months to live. Now I could give her decades.
Huh.
They have done amazing things.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Really, really,
Yes.
yeah.
Very exciting.
Well, I don't know that she would want me talking about it, but my mom had breast cancer.
Oh, she did.
And it was one of those situations where, I live in this little bubble, and you're like, everything's good, business good, family's good, everything good. And then all of a sudden, you just hear that, right? And you're like, well, how do you, comprehend something that you don't even know anything about? And then so you learn about it, and she goes through that process. And and then you realize that so many other women are going through that process.
Oh, 1 out of 8.
1 out of 8.
1 in 8 women will have breast cancer in their lifetime.
And you're just like, it kind of puts it in perspective, right? Of why we're doing what we're doing.
Be a hidden disease too. Now, my husband was 15 years older than 15-year age difference. And I remember when I first would go out with couples of his age, and a woman, she'd whisper to me, I had breast cancer, but I didn't want to tell anyone. Now, I mean, it's like a banner you're wearing. Women are walking around with a pink pin, and
So it was a big secret.
it was a secret because it was about breasts, probably, or some crazy thing.
Yeah.
But they kept it a secret, and I think because of that, not much was done. In fact, I'll tell you another really interesting thing that I've learned. Because there's so many the more survivors they have from a disease, the more money they can raise. You take ALS, for example. There hasn't been a lot of success in that disease, curing it, because they don't have an army of people that say, we can do this.
Right.
We've
Because they
won
die.
this
Because they
battle.
die from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see that women now speak up. And, you ask a room full of people who have done it before, how many of you have been touched by breast cancer? Not necessarily them, but every hand goes up in the room.
Wow.
Barb, you've written a couple of books.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about those?
Well, the one book, my son-in-law, who he's actually the president of our board of directors too. Okay, this is really good, you guys, because my daughters are like, I am creative brain, but they both married really smart guys with the other side of the brain. And they've both been involved with the company. My one son-in-law, Amy's husband, was CEO for 8 or 10 years. He came in, we were at $10 million a year, and he took us to $500 million a year.
Oh, my gosh. Whoa.
With his team. Smart guy. My other son-in-law, Joni's husband, is president of the board of directors. And he is an amazing man, too, very smart, very bright. He encouraged me to write a book. He kept saying, "You've got to write a book. You've got to write a book." So I'm not a writer. I'm not even a big reader, really. And so then I thought, well, wait a minute. What if I wrote a book and we gave the proceeds again to the foundation? So that was the impetus to write the book. And so I did. And it's just the story. It's kind of my story, but it's definitely the story of Vera Bradley.
Vera Bradley's story.
A colorful way of living.
Yeah. Colorful way of living.
Yeah.
And
A colorful way of living, everybody.
And it's audiobook, which I actually
Yeah,
enjoy.
yeah,
It's
and
an
I read
audiobook.
it right here at
Yeah.
Sweetwater, yes.
Right here in one of the studios at
That
Sweetwater.
was one of the most difficult things because you're in a booth and it was just hard. I needed someone to, and there's sad things and there are happy things, and it's not easy.
How many sessions did it take to read the book?
2 days I came in.
That's impressive, though. You did it in 2 days.
Yeah.
I
is
read a
it?
book in
2 years.
2 months. 2
Oh,
years.
okay.
So you have a teleprompter? How does that work?
No, you're sitting
sit
there
there with-
reading.
Oh,
your
you're
own
reading
writing.
the legit book itself.
In my mind,
Okay.
I wanted to rewrite certain sentences.
Yeah.
Did I say that?
There was a comedian that did a book, Kevin Hart, and he did an audiobook, and he would pause and change it.
Yeah.
Or he would say a joke about his book,
Yeah, I
That's
can
a-
see
that's a
that
great idea.
because
So, Barb, you wrote another book, though. Tell us a children's book.
Okay, so this story I really love. This is one of my favorite things. My brother had cerebral palsy. I'm one of 6 children, and the third child had cerebral palsy. Very, very, very affected by it. He couldn't walk or talk or anything. So I'm at a Broadway play, and after the play, I was invited to this special party, and there was a young man in a wheelchair, extremely palsied, and I went over to him and started talking to him, and I said, "How'd you like the play?" And he tried to communicate, and this older gentleman came over and said, "This is wonderful. I'm so impressed that you're talking to my son." I said, "And why wouldn't I?"
Sure.
And he said, "Because people don't, when people are in wheelchairs or they look different, people don't talk directly to them." And so he left his big marketing firm in New York and started a campaign called Just Say Hi. And it's an amazing thing where when you say to somebody, say if your wife was in a wheelchair, and I know friends that have had this experience, they'd ask you the questions and not her, or, they just don't treat them equally.
We're uncomfortable.
Yeah. So, and just say hi. Okay. So he started this great thing. So I'm up at the lake, and our cottage kind of sits up high, and there has been a gal that I'd seen for a couple of years who would go around the lake in a mechanical motorized wheelchair. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go just say hi to her.
Yep.
So this was 10 years ago. We became very dear friends. And she's the young woman who dove into a pool on her graduation day from college and paralyzed from the neck down. And we've become dear friends. But she wrote children's books about disability people, the little dog that was crippled, and then the other little dogs didn't play with him. Just very sweet. She's very, very smart. So we started talking one day, and I said, have you ever thought of writing a book about the little puppy whose grandfather has Alzheimer's? Because when my husband had Alzheimer's, that's hard for little kids to understand why he, isn't acting the same way and all that. So we collaborated on this book. And it's a sweet book.
The title is?
This Always in My Heart.
Always in My Heart.
Or Forever in My Heart.
Forever in My
Yeah.
Heart. Yeah.
I appreciate books like that, though, because even my 5-year-old right now, he'll read a book, he'll have a wheelchair or something other than like that. And then they ask the questions.
Yeah.
They're like, why?
Yeah.
Why is that way? And then when they see it in real life, they're like, oh, I know.
Well, that's just like the Just Say Hi campaign. It's so good because I've passed this story on to other people, and they've said hi to people that they might not have said hi to. Whereas to me, growing up with that in my family, I didn't even understand. I mean, people don't speak to people in wheelchairs.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love
It's
that
a
concept.
great story. And she's just a great gal. Her name's Annie Strite. And she's amazing.
And she's open to write books too, right? For people.
Well, she's just written all the children's books.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
One of the things we like our audience to do is to learn from a business professional.
can't hear you. What?
I'm sorry. One of the things that we like our audience to learn is from stories from business professionals, like what you've just shared. But I'm curious as to, like, what was one of the hardest things you had to get over to become successful? And it could be because you're a woman, or maybe it was money or something like that. And then what do you think was, like, what was that day or that order that made you know what all of these years of hard work really has paid off, and we have done the right thing?
Well, Audrey, I think it's hard for people that are a lot younger than I am to even realize it was hard in the beginning, even to borrow the money. Pat and I went to a bank to borrow money after we blew our $250, and it was hard. I mean, women couldn't even buy a car back then without your husband's signature and all that. So I think the thing that we did accomplish, and I'm not a big burn your bra feminist by any means, I just always felt equal. And I was raised that way, 4 girls and 2 boys in our family, and I never felt that the boys were any more important or smarter or anything. I don't know. It's just the way we felt. And so we kept going on. And I never thought it would get as big as it did, but I really never thought of failure. I didn't think it would fail. But even when things fail, and maybe that's my adaptability thing, sometimes there's a reason for it, and then you come to a better conclusion about something else. Well, this didn't work, but maybe this will work.
Right.
And it's scalable, right? So like in your mind, you wanted to make this much. You never really had a number in your mind.
No. And in fact, I don't like that. I don't like to set a number as a goal, because that wasn't, even now with products, there are certain products we make that don't sell. That's another thing being a public company. It's more about if something didn't get X number of sales, then you drop it from the line. There are things that belong in the line, even though it's not the biggest seller.
Right.
And that's how we ran it.
Yeah.
But
So where did you find the first banker to say, okay, we'll loan you money? How did that come about?
well, we went into a bank, and that was interesting too. We went to a bank, and he just didn't get it. We brought in our bags, and we want to make these, and this is what we're thinking of, and everything. And so he said, okay, he'd loan us whatever it is. We walked out in the parking lot, and I said to Pat, I don't want to work with him. He was not. I didn't like the guy. He was just like, okay, we'll loan you the money. So
Now, who was that? Go ahead and name him.
So then we found a guy that till the day he retired, he was our friend. I mean,
that's
again,
awesome.
choosing someone that you want to be with, not that you just want to use. And then we did go to a service corps of retired executives, and we were lucky enough to be hooked up with George Cook, who was a finance guy. So he helped us in the financial part. But he was a very conservative guy. And I can remember one time he said, you're making all these phone calls to your customers. You've got to write them. It's a lot cheaper. And I remember saying, George, that's not a relationship. You've got to talk to somebody on the phone.
Sure.
And it's like now we text instead of calling a lot. So he learned from us, and we learned from him. And it was a great relationship.
Awesome. But that's not the original guy. Was he the original guy? Was he the first person to say, yes, we'll loan you some money?
Oh,
The guy you didn't like?
no. George Cook didn't loan us the money. Another banker loaned us
Yes.
the money.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to clarify.
Oh, and then I had another interesting thing. My husband and I were at dinner early on in Vera Bradley, and he was asking about what I'm doing, and I'm starting this company, or thinking about it. And he called me into his den. This is 40 years ago or more. And he got out his checkbook. He said, I like your story. And I think it reminds me of Shark Tank or something. He just believed in the story and in me, and he thought I could do it. And he wrote out a check for $2,500. And he said, okay, now if you're successful, it's a loan. If you're not, it's a gift. And no one needs to know about that.
That's nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
That's
nice.
cool.
That's
Yeah,
a true angel investor.
That was
Yeah.
really neat. I think it was such a neat thing. And that man, till the day he died, was a dear friend.
Yeah.
And we took good care of him. His wife carried a lot of Vera Bradley bags.
Yeah. Well, I noticed too, a lot of your companies are like co-owned and owned by multiple people and everything. And I think, is that part of that where you like want to have like that family when you kind of lean on each other and strength and weakness,
Yeah.
right? Is that part of that? Or is it
I'm not sure I understand.
like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm just going to be the sole owner, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of your companies, you have co-owners where you're doing it with somebody else.
What do you mean a lot of the companies? What?
Just a lot of owners, like they,
Yeah, but I mean other companies.
oh, your company's like, so Vera was started with co-owner, like someone else.
Yeah,
And then
Pat and I.
Pat and you, and then the Bradley is co-owned, right?
Well, it is in a way. It was what happened with the Bradley. We put in equal shares, but I had total visual. I didn't want to run a hotel,
Right.
and I still don't know. And that's not my strength again.
Right.
I would not be good at that. In fact, I don't even like to go to the meetings. You know, they'll call them and they'll say there's a food and beverage. You know, just figure it out, guys, and
Yeah.
and straighten that picture that's on the wall in the
Yeah.
hallway.
Yeah.
Would you recommend though, like someone starting a company to be kind of like bring in a group to help with those strengths and
Well,
weaknesses?
I like collaboration,
But,
but
yeah.
I think you know your strength. I would say focus on your strength and hire your weakness.
Yeah.
That would be what
I think
I
that's
would do.
great advice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
and don't worry about it. I
Yes.
mean, don't try to learn. Like if I had said, "Oh, I better brush up on bookkeeping and all that," there would be no company right
Well,
now.
it goes back to your story about the person who decided, hey, you know what? We need to focus on these kids' strengths,
Yeah.
not their weaknesses.
Exactly.
And take what he can do and make him better at it.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Boy, I wish somebody had thought of that when I was a kid.
I know. Well, I think it's a good lesson, and it makes you really proud of yourself. Like instead of thinking I'm not good at math, I'm not good at this, you're thinking I am good at
Absolutely.
this, and
yes.
this.
Yes.
And I've seen it with my own grandchildren. My oldest grandchild, the one who nicknamed me Bertie, he very smart guy, like his dad. His dad was the CEO. He graduated from college and went to Chicago and went to work for, I think it was Baird Company who took us public or something. Big company, very smart guy. And he came to me one time, Chris, and said, you know, Bertie, I'm just not happy in the corporate world. And I said, well, what would make you happy? He said, he was a college basketball player, by the way. And he said, I would love to coach and teach. And I said, then do it. You go and do exactly what makes you happy. And he is so happy there in Grand Rapids, and he coaches and teaches, and he's got a little baby and a great wife. And,
College or high school, or what's he coaching and teaching?
well, he's coaching in high school, but he played for Hope College in
Holland.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yep,
just
I
the
know it well.
nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
But again, you know, he could have followed the corporate because his dad was in corporate and his grandmother and all that. But he's doing what makes him happy.
It's awesome for him.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really nice.
yeah.
I think I'm going to do something I want to do now. I'm old enough. I can do that.
What would that be, Dan? What would that be?
Nothing.
No, oh yeah, just do a whole lot of nothing.
Well, I love what I've done. That's the thing that I think was fun for me. to be 42 years old and have never worked. I mean, I worked. I worked.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
But never got paid for anything
Right.
except paper. I was a wallpaper hanger. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh,
story.
no. Maybe I did know that at one time.
Yeah, I
but
think
I bet
so.
it's in that story.
Yeah. I had, when the kids were little and we lived in Chicago, I liked to hang wallpaper. I don't know why. I think because I can't draw. I can walk onto a blank wall and come back and it's beautiful. So anyhow, I started with a partner in Chicago and we were hanging paper and it'd be great. The kids go off to school. I could run out, make, $50 or something, come home.
Sure.
And that was it. Yep. So I don't know where I was going with that. But so that was my only time I worked and I loved it.
Yeah.
So then starting Vera Bradley, it was just all fun to me.
And now you can't go back. Now you're like, I can't stop.
I won't stop.
Right.
I'll tell you right now, I won't stop.
Yeah.
Between the hotel, the Baekgaard Gray Fox, and just other things that keep me busy.
Barb, what have we not covered that you would like to share? Is there anything else?
Or
that
like, what's
comes
next,
to mind?
right?
Yeah. What's next?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I don't know. I went to a card reader in New York, and she said I'd be working till the day I die. Well, that doesn't say much. I could have walked out of her office and dropped dead, So I said that doesn't give me much.
Yeah.
But
there's
think
some truth
she's
to
right.
that.
But
Yeah.
I think she was right. This was a long time ago. No, I just like being busy. That's why I like New York. I love Fort Wayne. And I think I like the contrast of you get the high energy in New York and then you come back to Fort Wayne, it's just mellow out. And,
Especially at the lake.
especially at the lake. And I don't know. I just think it's, I've got a wonderful life and I don't know what's next for me.
Just continue doing great things,
Keep
Just
doing, yeah. And I love the new group at the office, so that's been inspiring.
good.
And if things pop up, people ask me their advice once in a while, and I give it to them or
Right.
share it.
Well, in say 10, 15, 20 years from now, we'd like you to come back.
Well, I hope I hope I'm not here to tell you the truth. Call Dr. Kevorkian, will you, for me? Because I do not want to be
Don't
here.
want to stick around that long.
No. In fact, I have my girls on when to pull the plug. My boys, my sons, you couldn't put our dog to sleep when the dog should be, and I learned that from them. My girls are on no, I don't want to live to be.
So the girls are in charge?
The what?
Their girls are in charge of when
Yeah,
the
they're
plug
in
gets
charge
pulled?
of when
Yes,
they'll
got it.
know.
Got it.
And they were just at the Olympics with me and everything.
Yeah.
They know me very well. However, I will say, Harriet Inskeep, this is her 98th birthday
Oh
this
my
week.
gosh.
And she is amazing.
That is pretty amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. She really is. You see her out to dinner. I see her at Cat of Blue at the restaurant with Julie and
And just super sharp. Just
Yeah, so I
great.
used to say shoot me at 90. I stopped saying that now.
Right,
So,
yeah. Well, you're inspiring. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. You're inspiring and resilient, and your creativity.
it's fun.
is just,
I think you just have to enjoy everything you do, and I don't know. That's always my advice.
Well, I have to tell you, it's been really fun visiting with you today. So thank you for that.
yeah. Thank you for joining
I
us around
appreciate
our kick drum
I like that.
Yep.
fireside.
I like that. You could put a little fake fire in there. You could look like you.
See,
We could.
creativity over here. We're
No,
little
they look
electric.
in, and then you have a fireside
I like that.
chat.
Kyle, you got on that? You on that?
She's now our visual coordinator.
Yes. Backguard's bags coming in soon.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if any of you want to be sporting some Baekgaard bags, you come to my basement. That's Well, that's how Vera Bradley, I often think of Spanx. How did she make them?
Yes.
Because I can't tell if you're wearing Spanx,
Right.
but I could tell if you're carrying a Vera Bradley bag.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Such a
True that. Yeah.
And
So there's a Spanx story before we head out of here.
Yeah.
The first sale she made, she had to take one of the ladies into the bathroom to show her Spanx. Because she's in front of all these men trying to sell Spanx, and she had to go into the bathroom and say, "Hey, this is what it is." And she sold her first in the bathroom.
Honest to God, I know that story must be true because I think of her. She actually was living in my same building in New York. I didn't meet her. She's not living there anymore. But I wanted to ask her, okay, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Because Vera Bradley, the more we gave away, the more they were carrying them. And
You could see it.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Seriously, this
Oh,
has
this
been
has been fun.
amazing.
Oh, it's been really great.
We appreciate it a lot.
It's a lot of fun. Good.
Well, keep it going. Thank you for coming.